After a long day at work, nobody really wants to sit down and create more content. But how can you actually build a YouTube channel if you don't do this? So today we're talking about how you can gain consistency with your videos on YouTube. Let's get right into it. If you're new here, my name is Liz. I help coaches and consultants add video to their business. Be sure to subscribe so that you never miss any of my future content. Now, it goes without saying that creators get burnt out all the time because they are trying to pump out all this regular content. It's not easy to be consistent with all of the different types of content that you want to put out across different platforms. However, if you are committed to building a YouTube channel, then you do have to have some level of consistency because your audience is actually expecting you to show up for them. Once you start putting out YouTube videos, the people who are actively watching them are going to subscribe to your channel and be waiting for the next one. Remember, they want the value that you are there to provide. So if you just drop off the map altogether and don't keep posting on YouTube, then your audience is going to wonder, what was the point of following you in the first place? Now, there's many big creators out there who are talking about quitting YouTube and how it's causing them to burn out and how they've not posted in the last 1 year. In fact, I even know a YouTube coach who hasn't posted a new YouTube video in 10 months. So it definitely does happen. But for myself, as someone who posts pretty consistently every single Tuesday, I want to encourage you and remind you that if you have some habits in place, it is actually easier than you think to show up consistently. Once your audience knows that they can depend on you to show up once a week or once every 2 weeks or once every couple days, whatever is your calendar, then that trust and that relationship is built. They know they can count on you to provide the value, and they know that you are interested in showing up for your audience. So let's jump into some of my favorite ways that you can stay consistent on YouTube. The first thing is to always be jotting down your ideas. If you are sitting down to create YouTube videos and trying to think from scratch every single time about what would be a good idea for a YouTube video, then it becomes a real burden and a chore. It's not easy to just flip the switch and start thinking of new ideas just at the drop of a hat. So instead of that, I always have a running document on my computer, which also syncs to my phone. And this is where I drop in new ideas for videos all the time. Those videos can just be from a bunch of different places. Sometimes you're scrolling on social media and you see something that really piques your interest that would make a good YouTube video. You can put that down. Sometimes people will leave a comment about something under some of your other content. That could make a good video. Write that down. Sometimes you might be listening to a podcast or reading a book and an idea will come across your mind that could really benefit your audience. Add that too. So if you don't jot it down as soon as it comes across your mind, you will forget it, my friends. And then later you will have to think, what was that idea again that was brilliant at the moment? So instead of that, always keep this running bank of ideas. Keep looking back at that bank regularly, because after some time, you might notice that some ideas are actually not as valuable and as exciting as they seemed at that moment. So then you can constantly be making that short list and letting that ruminate for you. When you have ideas that are pretty solid sitting in that bank, as you get time, you can start doing the research and putting in the points. But first, you need that bank of ideas. The next thing to do is to make use of your personal calendar. You need to set aside time and budget it in your calendar for researching, shooting, and editing your videos. If you don't have that time blocked in your calendar, then you're going to end up saying, oh, I'll do it when I get some time, which is one of those things that never materializes in life because we're just too busy for that. So once you block aside that time, try to be somewhat consistent about it. Then you will get into that habit. You might find that there is a certain day of the week where you get a couple of hours free or even half an hour free. Half an hour is more than enough time to do some research on at least one of the ideas that you've put in your bank. Once you've got the research done, you will feel so much better that at least you have some substance there with which to shoot your video. So do your best to block in those 3 times, and then let's move on to the next step. Now we're interrupting this video so I can remind you to subscribe. I think you should do that first. And if you want to get started with video sooner rather than later, be sure to look in the description below. I've given you 3 resources that will help you get started with video this week. Just click on the links and I will send you all the information. Now let's get back to our video. The next thing to do is to work in batches. I used to be totally against the idea of content batching because I thought, oh, it doesn't allow me to be spontaneous. Who has time for all that spontaneity, my friends? As a business owner especially, you don't have time to just play around with your calendar and just hope that few minutes materialize here and there. It doesn't. So instead of that, commit to batching your content. So that means in your calendar, in those slots where you write down things like research YouTube content video ideas or whatever it is, be sure to do more than one video at a time. So when you're sitting down to do the research, try to research the points for 3 of your videos at the same time. Just do them one after another. After some time passes, you will get into a routine and a hang of how to do more than one thing at the same time. Similarly, when you're shooting your YouTube videos, don't just sit down and shoot one video at a time. Consider all of the effort that it takes to set yourself up, hype yourself up mentally, and get ready to finally shoot. Why would you put all that effort in just for one video? Even when I'm shooting this video right now, I am not just shooting this one. I've already shot 2 more earlier today, and now I'm shooting this one, and after this I'm going to shoot another 2. That will give me a nice bank of videos that are already shot that I can just go and edit. Similarly, when you're doing your editing, don't just edit one video at a time. Edit a few of them one after another and get into that routine. When you do this, you will find that you actually only have to do this stuff once or twice a month. You can batch enough content at those times so that you have a running stock of content that you can put out all throughout the month and you don't have to be creating it from scratch. Speaking of doing things from scratch, the next thing to be aware of is having to set up everything and prepare yourself from scratch every single time. That again is a big no-no, and it will really contribute to you being inconsistent with video creation. I always tell my students, start out with the simplest equipment and software that you can possibly find. Things that you know how to use, that are easy to just store in your workspace and are easy to set up. If it takes you 30 minutes to set up everything just to shoot a YouTube video, it is going to really feel like a burden. Instead, have your tripod, your lights, whatever is your system that you have ready for shooting your videos, have it all stored somewhere where you can just grab it, set it in the same places every single time, turn everything on, and then start shooting. For me, I've got a bunch of markers on the floor in my room that I've just taped off, so I know my tripod has to go exactly there. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel every single time and figure out the perfect angle, because I know that it's going to go right there, my studio light is going to go right there, and then I'm just going to start shooting. So get into that habit of simplifying all of the setup so that you can just get ready to go. Similarly, don't worry so much about what you're wearing. Pick out a few outfits that you think look good on you and suit the actual video content that you're making, and then just rotate through them. When you get time in your spare time, you can find other outfits. But I'm telling you how many times in my earlier days, I used to agonize around, oh, what should I wear for this video? Then I take time to iron it and get it ready. Then I take time to set up. It's all a huge waste of time. So simplify that entire process so that when you are ready to shoot and you've got that time blocked in your calendar, you can just sit down and go. Now, the next thing I want to encourage you to do is to find ways to repurpose your existing video content. So after you go through all of this hard work of editing, shooting, and publishing 3-4 videos per month or whatever it is your schedule is, don't just let those videos go to waste. I love using a program called Opus Clip, so you can just find that on Google and use the free trial and see what you think about it. But those type of softwares allow you to upload your long form YouTube content and it will chop it into smaller pieces for you. That way you can use that video content in short form in other places like on TikTok or Instagram Reels, for example. That way, all of the effort that you are putting into that long form video gets used all month long. You still have video content in the form of short form video. This allows you to be consistent. That way you can put out your long form stuff, and in the meantime, all throughout the week, your short form stuff is also coming out, and you're not actually doing double the work. The only extra work you have to do is to go into a software like Opus Clip, upload your thing, and then click it with one button and it will chop it for you. But this is really going to help your audience feel like you are showing up consistently because you've got all of this content out. And it will also make you feel good because you are putting out a lot of content with just doing the work for a few pieces. Now, the beauty of having a type of plan like what I just outlined in this video is that it allows you flexibility and it prevents you from burning out. Remember that creating videos and content creation, it's a creative process. So you're not a machine that can just pump out all of this stuff. You need the time not to be creating content so that you can brainstorm and daydream and let your mind wander and find more creative ways to put out your content. You can't do that when you are constantly feeling this pressure of putting out the next thing. This is why a lot of creators burn out. So when you do this type of batch content work, and when you do the content bank creation and creating more short form clips, it actually leaves you with a ton of time in the month not to be creating videos, which is a wonderful thing. When you're not creating videos is when you are rejuvenating all of your creative juices. You're letting your mind wander and letting yourself relax from the content creation a little, and then get excited again for the next month when you need to do it. This is really going to help you to prevent burnout and make you feel like you actually enjoy video content creation, which is how it should be. So if you like this video, I hope that you will give it a like, share it off with one of your friends. Don't forget to subscribe, because every single week I bring you a new video teaching you how you can add video to your business. So until next time, take care.